Hello, it's Chris again. After my last video on shooting this lower poundage bow, my marksman bow here, I had a few people contacting me saying that they really like the idea of using lower poundage bows, helping save injuries and things, but they're not getting the arrow speed that that they want higher speeds. The example I gave you is how I like to shoot this particular bow. It's nice and slow, but there are ways you can make a 35-pound bow throw arrows out at quite a good speed. The thing you need to do first is concentrate on tuning your bow up and making your bow as fast as possible before you concentrate on the arrows, because if you get light arrows first and then tune your bow, you're liable to throw your arrows out of spine again, which can prove quite costly. So my advice, you don't have to take it, but my advice would be get your bow, 35-pound, whatever you want. You get it off the shelf. It's probably got a Dacron bowstring on. Chances are it's about 16 strand, which is it's like a tow rope, if you will. Too many strands making it slow. At 35-pound, 12 strands is plenty. That'll help speed it up. And if possible, use fast flight. Most bows nowadays are capable of taking fast flight strings. I'm a bit wary about using it on this, being a 40-year-old bow. It's getting a bit of TLC, so I'm using B50. But yeah. So chances are you could use fast flight string. Again, keep the strands to a minimum. 16 strands on fast flight plus is plenty on a 35. Another bit of advice would be to keep the servings as short as possible. Enough for your fingers plus an inch or so either side. It's plenty. The more serving, the more weight. And another big one: don't bother with your string silencers, the big fluffy things on your strings. They just soak up speed. They do. They look nice, they're great, but they're designed for hunting. For help stop scaring animals off when you fire your bow. So don't use them. You'll get better speed without them. And then obviously once you've got your bow up to as fast as you can make it within reason, then you've got to look at arrows. The equation you use with arrows is the weight of the arrow, total weight of the arrow, and then divide it by the poundage of your bow. And if you do it with the arrows and the bow that I'm using, the 550 grain arrows, 35-pound bow. So that equation, 550 divided by 35, it comes to about 15 grains per pound, which is a pretty darned heavy arrow, really. To get good speed, you've got to be looking at about 8 to 12 grain. I've shot Eastern aluminium arrows out of this, and they come out at 400 grain, so they're 150 grain lighter than these, and they're considerably faster. So obviously you choose a nice light for speed. Obviously, you choose a nice light arrow. Try and keep the point weight down as well. Don't bother with your 125 grain. See if you can get down to 80, 70 grain on your points, keeping the balance right still. That's for another day, the front of centre balance. And fletchings, obviously. These are big 4-inch fletchings. As soon as they've left your bow, they're basically soaking speed away. You get to 30 yards and it's slowing it down considerably. So if you want a bit more speed, go down to 3-inch fletchings. If you want to go full hog, 2.5 inch, like target longbow lads use. They do the trick. They just don't look as flashy. But if you want speed, keep them down inside. And also, if you're using wooden arrows, you could, you know, keep the weight down by using something like Sitka spruce. That's about as light as you can get wood. And when you're making them, you know, 2.5 inch, 3 inch fletchings, 80 grain points, and just a very, very thin coat of varnish. You know, don't go daubing loads and loads of coats of varnish on, that adds weight. Okay, you know, the main equation is heavy bows use heavy arrows, and light bows can use light arrows. You know, so if you take it all into consideration, a heavy bow using the nice heavy arrows that you like to use, compared to a light bow with nice light carbon arrows, say, the arrows are coming out at exactly the same speed, you know. There is a really good article on all this. It's on the Bodnik website. If you go to Bearpaw or Bodnik and look on their blogs, I can't for life remember what it's called. It's something like "Heavy isn't always the best," and that's basically talking about what I'm waffling on about. Anyway, so I hope that answered a few questions to those who were asking me about getting the most out of your lightweight bow. So that's it really. Try and use fast flight, keep the strands down, keep the serving short, don't bother with string silencers. Once you've got all your bow sorted, look for light arrows that are going to do the job that you want them to do. You know, you can get the timber sticks, they're a good one. They do a timber stick slimline, they're really light. Built up, you can get them down to something like 8 grains per pound, you know, and they'll come out like rockets, you know. They're like fantastic arrows. Yeah, like I was saying, light arrows, light points, small fletchings. If you're using wooden, thin coat of varnish. And away you go, really. Well, I hope that's been some help. I've confused myself a bit now. all this thinking, it's not good for you. Anyhow, I've got to do a bit of therapy now, a bit of group therapy. Right, see you later. Ta 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 ta.